Yo, what's up, everyone? It's CMZ Football here, and I know it's been kind of a little while since I've done like a video or a podcast. There hasn't really been much to talk about this off season. It's been pretty dry, so I haven't really known what to talk about. But the season's right around the corner, and I'm gonna be back to making these podcasts and videos. So I hope you guys can enjoy these videos while you guys are eating, or if you guys are working out, you guys can listen to these podcasts. So enjoy. And we're going to get right into it. We're going to start off with Trent Williams. So, there's a lot of reports that he doesn't want to be in Washington because of, like, the staff there and how they take care of him, blah, 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 blah. I totally understand that. But I feel like the Redskins, they need him, but he doesn't want to stay, so they're going to have to kind of, like, trade him. I don't know where they would trade him to. I know there's, like, rumors with the Texans, that, for Clowney, for Williams, like, just straight up like that. I don't know about that, just because the Redskins D-line is already pretty good, even though that's Jadeveon Clowney, like, the Redskins D-line is pretty good, and I think they could use someone else at a different position. Like, the Redskins could maybe, like, get a first-round pick. That would be really good if they can get that for Trent Williams. For example, they can trade him to the Patriots. I know the Patriots, they're probably going to have a late first-round pick, so they can get, like, a first-round pick and maybe, like a fifth or a fourth. That'd be pretty nice for them. But I feel like he's going to get traded. I just don't see him staying in Washington from what it is right now. It sucks for Washington because they really need help at that O-line spot, and he's not there. And he's really good. He's one of the best in the game. So we'll see where he goes. There's also rumors about him going to Miami. We'll see about that. We'll see if he wants to go and stuff. So yeah, and also Jadeveon Clowney, he's not getting that. Looks like he's not going to get that contract. So let's see where he goes. There's a lot of destinations where he can go because a lot of teams need a good pass rusher, and he's been kind of like a little bit overlooked by J.J. Watt. So if he goes somewhere, he can be that main player, a main core player there. A team. I'm not sure what exact teams maybe need a defensive end. Maybe the Jets. I know they struggle at position a little bit, but I mean, he's going to cost some money. He might cost a first round. He probably will cost a first round pick and something else. But the best destination right now with a team that needs a pass rusher is the Jets for sure. Or even maybe the Raiders. I don't know if the Raiders will pay him that much, but I feel like the Raiders could be another team as well. Moving on to the next thing, I want to talk about Dak Prescott. So there's been a lot of things about Dak Prescott and his freaking contract. Turning down $30 million, I think that's bullshit. He needs to keep that $30 million. He should have signed it. I don't know why he didn't sign it. He deserves $28 million. Yeah, they have won a lot of games, but those games that they've won have not been because of Dak Prescott. Like, we know, like, Aaron Rodgers wins those type of games and Tom Brady. But the Cowboys were mainly relying on Ezekiel Elliott and that good defense that they do have. And I just don't think Prescott deserves that type of money. He deserves a solid amount, like $27 million, and considering the fact that they still need to sign Zeke and Amari Cooper, he should be kind of like lenient on that. Like Tom Brady, like he doesn't sign big contracts, he signs small ones so his teammates can get bigger ones as well and build a nice force. I just think that he should deserve that around that. But there's reports that he wants $35 million. Russell Wilson type money. I would understand if you would want $35 million if he's won a Super Bowl and been to 2, and like he's been pretty consistent. But like, I just don't think he deserves $35 million. He's taken the Cowboys to the playoffs a lot, but he hasn't gone to the Super Bowl yet. I just don't think he deserves that type of money. We'll see what the Cowboys do, but he's gonna play, so we'll see what happens. And now the season's around the corner. Fantasy football, a lot of teams are drafting right now, and I love fantasy football myself. I love playing it. It's something I've been playing for about 5 years now. I won 2 out of 3 leagues last year. Was in the championship, but when I lost. So this right now in this episode, I'm gonna talk some sleepers that I like for this year, because I know a lot of drafts are coming up and you guys might want to know in the later rounds who to pick up, or even in the mid rounds who to pick up. So I'm gonna talk about the wide receivers first. So some of the wide receivers I really like this year, Tyler Boyd's gonna be very underrated because AJ Green's out those probably the first couple weeks with I think it was an ankle injury. So Tyler Boyd's that number one wide receiver there, and we remember last year how good he was doing in Cincinnati with when AJ Green was out. So I think he has great value in the 6th, maybe even 5th round, maybe 4th round earlier. I would definitely take him. He is solid, and even if AJ Green does come back, he will do very well still. I just think he's a great pickup and has great value. Value is just very important in fantasy drafts because if you pick the wrong dude at the wrong time, it's a bad pick. Like if you're picking, let's say for example, Nick Chubb or even like someone like I don't know, Stephon Diggs in the 2nd or 1st round. Like that's pretty bad value. You want Stephon Diggs in the 4th or 5th. That's pretty good value. So that's that. And another sleeper I really also like is Robert Woods. I know he's kind of like in that mix of the Rams offense and everything like that, but I just think he's going to do very good. And with the offense they're running there, Cooper Kupp's coming back from the ACL, and you do also have Brandon Cooks, but I mean, Woods did pretty good last year when it was just them. I think he'll do very well again, and we'll see where it goes from there. And another sleeper I do like, 2 sleepers, we'll talk about 2 right now. Like Mike Williams, we'll start with him. So Mike Williams from the Chargers, last year they had Keenan Allen, Tyrell Williams, and Mike Williams. And Mike Williams had, I think 10 or 11 touchdowns in the red zone. He's a red zone machine. He's like Devontae Adams, not as good as Devontae Adams, but he's still a threat in the red zone. He's a big body dude. He can catch passes in the red zone. I think he's going to be a really good asset for fantasy leagues when it comes to red zone points, and he's going to be getting a lot of touchdowns since Tyrell Williams did go to the Raiders, and it's just pretty much Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, that little duo they have there. So, between the two, I think Keenan Allen will do well, but I think Mike Williams will get a lot of red zone targets because Phillip Rivers does like those big targets in the end zone, those little fade passes. So later rounds, Mike Williams, get him. Another one I like that I think will have a really good year actually is DJ Moore from the Panthers. You got Curtis Samuel there. You just signed Chris Hogan. I think DJ Moore can be a number 1 wide receiver in Carolina. Cam Newton's coming back pretty healthy. Everything's looking pretty good in Carolina. And I think they're going to incorporate the pass game a lot this year. Christian McCaffrey got a big workload last year just because Cam was kind of injured and blah, blah. But I think DJ Moore can have a really good year. He's going to get a lot of yards, maybe a lot of red zone touches too. So I would look for him in the kind of mid rounds. I think he'll go around there just because he's the number 1 wide receiver for the team. So now talking about the fantasy running backs, there's a lot of sleepers this year. Running us off right off the bat, this is kind of a sleeper, but for me it is. I would go with Nick Chubb. So Nick Chubb, Duke Johnson just got traded about a week ago. And, that offense is looking really nice. Baker Mayfield's going to develop really well. Nick Chubb, he barely played last year. Or he did. He played a little bit more than half the season. And it was almost a 1,000-yard rusher. Imagine how he's going to do this season with Baker getting more developed. That offense, more threats. And I think Nick Chubb is going to have a really good year. He's going to be catching passes out the backfield, great for PPR, running a lot, red zone touches a lot. I think Nick Chubb is very underrated. A lot of people are looking at him in the late 2nd, early 3rd. I might even target him in the early 2nd. I think that's a great pick. I feel really safe picking him in that area. So definitely watch out for Nick Chubb. He's a great fantasy player. Also, another player I really like is Kerryon Johnson. So last year, played the first couple games and he got injured. Now he's going to be that starting back there. CJ Anderson's there as well, but Kerryon Johnson, I was watching his tape and he has some flashes of little Barry Sanders here and there. He's really fast. He's really shifty. I think Matthew Stafford, he's going to use him a lot in the backfield as well and in PPR for catching passes in the back. I think Kerryon Johnson's a great pick. You can get him in the early 3rd, late 2nd. Very underrated just because he didn't play last year. A lot of people are overlooking him. I think that he can be a very great pick in these rounds. So now moving on to the quarterbacks. So there's a lot of quarterbacks that we all know the top 5, and then it's from there. I really like Derek Carr this year. he has Antonio Brown and Tyrell Williams, and I think it's going to be great for him because let's look at the numbers Ben Roethlisberger put up with Antonio Brown. Like, he was one of the best fantasy quarterbacks, and now you got Tyrell Williams and Antonio Brown. I just think he's going to put up great numbers. Antonio Brown and him are going to be best friends, and a lot of yards, a lot of targets, a lot of catches, and a lot of touchdowns. So I think Derek Carr is a really good player to watch out for this year in like the later rounds if you can't get like one of the top 6 QBs. And with Josh Jacobs back there too, a lot of pass catching plays in the backfield. I just think it's going to work very well for Derek Carr this year, and he's going to have a good year. Plus, they upgraded that old line, so he's going to have more time to throw, feel more comfortable in the pocket. And another sleeper I really like is Kyler Murray. So just because he's a rookie, I get it. He hasn't played much. We've seen him one preseason game. This dude has a freaking arm, and he has some weapons, man. He has Larry Fitzgerald. I know he's old, but he's still really good. And Isabella, and I forgot the other names of the wide receivers, but man, this kid has a freaking arm, a rocket. And I think he's going to be running the ball a lot too, using his legs a lot, which is going to help. And I just think he's really good with Dave Johnson as well. He's going to pair really well with the pass catching for PPR as well. So I just think Kyler Murray is a big sleeper. You can look for him in the later rounds to get if you can't get one of those top 6 QBs. So definitely be on the lookout for Kyler Murray. All right, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Just leave your thoughts, comments, answer questions, DM me. Just keep watching out these episodes. I'm having like once every week. So I hope you guys enjoy. Please leave a like, comment.